I just spent the last 3 days pushing Nano Banana 2 to its absolute limits, and it's honestly amazing. And what I realized is that there are some core things you need to master so that you can use a tool to its fullest, especially one that can replace hours of your manual work. So in this video, I'm walking through real tests that prove what's different and breaking down exactly how to use this in your workflow. The platform I'm using today is called OpenArt, as they were kind enough to give me early access to use Nano Banana 2. So if you want to follow along, I've left a link for OpenArt in the description below. After you sign up, go to the homepage and click Create Image right here. Now click this button here and select Nano Banana 2. Now for the aspect ratio, I'm going with 1:1 for this first generation, and I'm setting the resolution to 4K because Nano Banana 2 can handle high quality outputs, which is pretty rare for image generators. The first thing I'm testing is something that most AI image generators completely struggle with. Nano Banana 2 can now maintain character resemblance for up to 5 characters and the consistency of up to 14 objects in a single scene. That means you can create storyboards, build narratives, and generate multi-frame sequences without your characters suddenly looking like completely different people. If you're serious about AI creation, you know how important character consistency is. So I'm building a test that's going to push this to its limits. I'm creating a scene with 5 distinct characters, and I'm adding 14 objects scattered throughout the scene. Here we can see all 5 characters look exactly how I described them, and all 14 objects are present and recognizable. But the real test is whether it can maintain that consistency when I change the scene. So I'm prompting for an action change. Everyone is in a completely different position, but still remains perfectly consistent. However, depending on what you ask, you might get an item missing from time to time. But considering how much it can do all at once is remarkable for an image generator. This is the kind of consistency you need if you're creating comic strips, storyboards, or any visual narrative where characters need to stay recognizable across multiple frames. You can build out entire scenes, change camera angles, adjust lighting, or shift character positions without having to regenerate everything from scratch. And character consistency isn't the only major upgrade with Nano Banana 2. Another thing that Nano Banana 2 does significantly better than previous versions is pulling accurate real-world information into your generations. I'm asking it to create a photorealistic image of a specific location using only GPS coordinates and a date. For this one, I'm switching to a 16:9 aspect ratio and setting the resolution to 4K. I'm giving it the exact coordinates of the Great Pyramid of Giza and telling it the scene should reflect the historical accuracy of its construction. Nano Banana 2 is built on Gemini 3.1 Flash, which means it has access to real-world knowledge and can search the web for accurate information, and the results show a clear upgrade. The pyramid is still under construction, the workers are dressed in accurate ancient Egyptian clothing, and the surrounding landscape is historically accurate for that time period. The level of detail in the clothing, the tools being used, and even the positioning of the construction elements feels more researched and authentic. Let's compare this to Nano Banana Pro. I'm generating this image using the exact same prompt, and you can immediately see the improvement. While Pro does create a pyramid construction scene with some historical elements, Nano Banana 2 pulls in noticeably more accurate details that make the scene feel more authentic to that specific time period. So I'm pushing it even further. I'm asking it to create an infographic showing the distances between each planet and the sun in kilometers, and every single number is correct. The layout is clean and professional, the planets are properly sized relative to each other, and the whole thing looks like something you would see in an actual educational presentation. And because the information is pulled in real time, you're not working with outdated data. That's the kind of thing that used to require you to manually research the information, organize it in a spreadsheet, then design the whole thing. But now, you can do it with just one prompt. This opens up massive possibilities for anything where you need accurate information presented visually, and because the model has improved real-world knowledge, it understands context better than before. So when you ask it to create something specific, it's not just matching keywords, it's actually understanding what you're asking for and pulling more relevant information to make it accurate. Now, beyond having real-world information, Nano Banana 2 solves another problem of AI creation. Text rendering is another area where most AI image generators completely fall apart, but Nano Banana 2 actually handles it well. You can generate accurate, legible text for whatever you need, and what makes this even more powerful is the translation feature. You can create an image with text in one language, then prompt the model to translate everything into a different language while keeping the exact same layout, typography, and style. So I'm testing this by creating a bustling night market scene with vibrant neon signs in Japanese. For this generation, I'm going with a 16:9 aspect ratio at 2K resolution. The result looks really good. It has signs for different food stalls and shops with Japanese characters, all lit up with that classic neon glow you'd see in an Asian night market. Then I'm asking it to translate everything into English while keeping the design intact. And as you can see, the spacing stays consistent, the neon glow matches, and the overall aesthetic doesn't change at all. I also ran the same test, translating it into Spanish and Korean, and both came back clean. That's huge for anyone running international campaigns or creating content for multilingual audiences, because you're not rebuilding the entire design for each language. You're just translating it, and the model handles everything else. And there's one more thing that really sets Nano Banana 2 apart from everything else. This is where you start to see just how much control you have over your generations. I want to test whether the model can handle extremely detailed requests without losing accuracy. So I'm giving it a very specific prompt for a product photo of headphones. I'm setting this to 1:1 at 4K resolution since product shots need to be as sharp as possible. The prompt includes exact specifications for lighting angles, shadow softness, texture details, and composition rules. And the result is exactly what I asked for. The headphones are centered and symmetrical, the shadows are natural, and the lighting matches my description perfectly. Now let's test whether it can follow a precise adjustment. I'm asking it to rotate the headphones 15 degrees to the right while keeping everything else identical. We've already seen how good Nano Banana 2 is at consistency, so it does it easily. That level of precision is what makes Nano Banana 2 so powerful for product photography, marketing materials, and any kind of visual content where details actually matter. But I also want to see if it can handle creative scenarios while still following instructions accurately. So I'm giving it something completely unrealistic. I'm asking for a chaotic cafe scene where furniture and objects are being violently thrown into the air. For this one, I'm going back to 16:9 at 4K. The lighting is dramatic with dust and particles shown in the air, and the overall composition looks like a freeze frame from an action movie, while the motion blur makes everything feel like it's captured at the exact moment of impact. Now let's combine everything we've covered into one final test. So I'm creating something that requires character consistency, real-world knowledge, text rendering, and precise instruction following all at once. First, I generate 3 separate character portraits that will be used as the cast for the poster. The first portrait is a construction foreman wearing rugged 1870s work clothes with a confident expression, and the second is an engineer in formal period attire representing the design and leadership behind the bridge, and the third is a worker in authentic 1870s labor clothing, showing the workforce that actually built the structure. Each portrait is generated at high quality and saved as a reference image. Then I take those 3 images and include them directly right here as references, so the model isn't inventing new faces, it's reusing the exact same characters. This way, when I generate the final image, the 3 people will stay visually consistent. Their facial features, clothing style, and overall identity will match the original portraits like real actors cast for a film. For the final generation, I'm asking Nano Banana 2 to create a movie poster for a fictional historical film about the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm using a 3:4 aspect ratio at 4K resolution, and when the image comes back, everything holds together. The 3 characters match their reference portraits and look like they belong in the same world and time period. The text is completely readable. The Brooklyn Bridge in the background shows the construction phase with the cables and towers positioned correctly and historically accurate details, and the overall composition looks like a professional theatrical poster you'd actually see in a cinema. That's the kind of generation that would normally require casting references, historical research, graphic design, and hours of manual work across multiple tools. What's remarkable about these tests is how consistent Nano Banana 2 stays across all of these different tasks. So if you want to test out everything about Nano Banana 2, click the link in the description below to sign up for OpenArt. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.